podcast for this special space where we come together across regions, companies, and cultures to connect on meaningful topics that matter to all of us. A warm welcome to everyone joining from all Massy regions and seeing people joining. If you can, great. Joining us from across, I'm seeing Guyana and Barbados, St. Lucia. So this is great, Trinidad and Tobago and others. And so today we continue our month-long series on financial literacy, and we're super excited to dive into the conversation. We had a great conversation last week, and to continue that with the Trinidad Tobago Stock Exchange, who is partnered with us today. We ask that if you can please mute your mics, if possible. I think somebody's mic is not muted. Great. And please use the chat to ask questions. We'll stop and have Q&As along the way. Please, let's make this a really engaging session. And so today I'd like to welcome Nicola Vickles, Sarah Robinson-Gibbs, Rhonda Salier, and Natasha Bola from the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange. Nicola?
Hi, good morning.
Morning. How are you doing?
I am fine, thank you, and thank you for having us today.
Great. We're super excited, and we already have over 100 people logged on, so this is fabulous. So I think we only have an hour, and we typically have loads of questions along the way, and I'm sure today will be no different. So I guess we'll kick off.
Okay, sure. With the questions, we can use the chat. We will try to answer some of the questions in the chat along the way, and we'll also have allow persons to open up their mics at the end of the sessions to ask the questions. So during the presentation, feel free to use the chat to ask the questions, and at the end, we can then allow you to open the mics, right? So let's get started. So again, thank you for having us today. We're going to, on the agenda today, we're just going to briefly discuss, the basics of investing, what is currently available on the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange for investing, general myths, general benefits, and some common myths we want to address. We're also going to look at what is dematerialization and having direct bank deposits. Our team on the TTCD side will handle that. And then at the end, we'll hand you over to Sarah, who will do our online trading and e-statement platforms to introduce persons to it. And you can feel free to ask any questions. So what is investing? Put simply, investing is putting your money to work with the goal of it growing over time. So we wanted to just highlight some of the securities that are available on the stock exchange, which can be utilized to put your money to work. So we have stocks, commonly referred to as shares, we have mutual funds, and we have bonds. So what is a stock? A stock basically represents a unit of ownership in a company. So when you buy a stock, you become part owner of the company. Mutual funds are basically pooled investments, which give investors access to a diversified group of assets or securities by simply investing in one single security. And then we have bonds, which is a debt instrument, or we can think of this as a loan. So it's a loan between a borrower and a lender. And in this instance, the borrower can be the government or a company, and the lender would be the investor. And on the stock exchange, we have two types of bonds. We have corporate bonds, which are issued by companies, and we have government bonds, which are issued by the government. But for today's session, we're going to kind of focus in on the stock market or the shares part of it, right? So as I said before, the stocks represent a unit of ownership in the company. And stocks can either be bought on the primary market or on the secondary market. On the primary market, as it says, it's via a company can come and offer their shares via an initial public offering. So this is where they offer their shares to the public for the very first time. And the company basically would raise funds to then further advance maybe its strategic initiatives, and they get these funds from the public. They can do an additional public offering, which is after your IPO, sometime may have passed, and the company may determine that they would want to return to the market to raise additional funds to fund certain operations against strategic projects, etc. Then we have the secondary market. This is where the stock exchange comes in. On the secondary market, shares can be bought and sold between investors. And we at the stock exchange provides an electronic platform that allows you to easily buy and sell shares over the exchange. At a high-level view, we wanted to present you with what is currently available on the stock exchange. So I'm sure you'd see some familiar brands and logos on the screen. And we generally like to tell a story when we're doing these presentations so persons can understand how they interact with these companies on a daily basis. But given that we are presenting to Massy today, we wanted to kind of focus in on the Massy and how it could impact persons' day-to-day lives. So we're going to use an imaginary person called Alex. So just join me on this journey with this story. So Alex is employed at Massy Wood, and he decides it's time to acquire his first car. And he likes a particular brand offered by Massy Motors. So he goes to Massy Finance for a loan to turn his dreams into a reality. After collecting his car, he heads to Massy stores to do his weekly Wednesday shopping. So in this example, we would have seen that Massy touched Alex's life in many ways in different aspects in terms of acquiring a car, seeking financing, his job, stopping and getting groceries, etc. Right? So we can say Alex is a consumer of Massy products. So why not only be a consumer? Don't only be a consumer. We also say you can be an investor. And you can be an investor by buying the securities or buying in Massy or investing in Massy over the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange. So how does stock work? We're going to use an example because as I said today, we're going to take it very simple. We want to explain everything step by step, right? So we're using examples. So in this example, we have Jane, and Jane is an investor. She decides to open up a brokerage account because we just saw how these securities impact our daily lives, and she decides she wants to buy some Massy shares, right? So Jane buys 100 Massy shares, and at the time she would have purchased the shares, it was $3.53 for one share. This was on July 29, 2024. This means she would have had to pay $353 to acquire these shares. She keeps the shares over a period of time, and as Massy would have made profits, she would have benefited from this in the form of dividend income. And dividend income is money which is paid to investors by the company for owning its shares. Since Jane would have bought these shares, she would have earned a total dividend income of $20.71. So allow me here to just highlight the dividend income that different companies have dividend payment policies. So in the case of Massy would have had semi-annual dividend payments until 2024. And effective 2025, they proceeded to have quarterly dividend payments, which means every 3 months, they would basically declare a dividend based on the profits, if the company made profits, and they share a part of that profits with its shareholders. That is basically what the dividend income is. Now, 1 year has since passed since Jane has purchased the Massy shares, and she decides she would like to sell these shares. So on July 30th, she would have sold the shares at $3.95 for one share. This gives a total value of $395. At this price, she would have realized a capital gain. What is capital gain? It's simply the profit or loss that an investor would realize upon the sale of a security, as the price of that security may have increased or decreased since they would have acquired it. Together with her dividend income and her capital gain from the sale of the share, Jane would have made a total income of, a total profit of $62.71. So here highlights how you can invest in the stock market, and over time, you can reap the benefits of that investment. So now we just want to highlight some benefits and address some myths with investments. And I mean, later on, we can get into, if persons have other questions, we can address it. So with investing on the stock market, buying shares, as I said, will make you a part owner of the company. When you buy these shares, you essentially have a piece of the pie in terms of ownership of the company. As a shareholder, you may also have the right to vote on certain company decisions and attend annual meetings. owning shares can be used as collateral. So many of us may be familiar with the term as collateral. If you will go to a loan to a financial institution for a loan, you may have to have some collateral against the loan. The value of your shares can be used as part of that collateral. So you may not necessarily have to dip into your pockets and take out cash or take part of your savings as collateral. You can use your shares, the value of your shares, as collateral. The good thing is it does not impact your ability to earn dividend income while the shares are being held as collateral. You're still the legal owner of the shares, so you are still entitled to the dividend income. However, you will not be able to sell the shares until you have finished paying the loan or you have removed the security for being held as collateral. As I mentioned before, benefits of owning the shares would be to get dividend income once the company declares profits and they are paying out a dividend. And you can also benefit from capital appreciation, as we saw in the example with Jane. However, it is important to note that with any investment that there are risks involved, right? For example, the price of the security can increase and decrease over time. We have been seeing a decline in prices in the market over maybe the last 3 years, but you can also see this as an opportunity to invest in these securities while the prices are low, because the company is still a sound company. It still has strong financials. You look and you examine the financial statements of companies, and you can determine that you want to invest in the security, even though the price might be low. So you see it as an opportunity. So low prices is not something that you should fear, but with knowledge and with diversifying your portfolio, you can reduce this risk. So some common misconceptions that we would like to address would be the misconception that you need a lot of money to start investing. This isn't true. You can simply start small and grow your investment over time. Investing is not just for the wealthy. It's accessible to everyone, regardless of your income level. And you would see later on when we go into our online trading platform, it's accessible to everyone. There's a popular saying that high risk means high returns, and this is not always true. A more accurate statement would be high risk investments may offer the chance of higher returns than other investment opportunities. And lastly, investing is not just for experts. You don't have to be a professional to invest. There are multiple tools aimed at educating investors. For example, this is one of the mediums that we use to educate persons on investing. So now I would hand you over to Ms. Rhonda Cillier, who would go through the dematerialization and the direct bank deposit aspect of the presentation. Rhonda?
Hi, good morning, everybody, and welcome to this presentation from the stock exchange. I will go through now how we receive your dividends payment directly to your bank account. So, as mentioned previously, you can receive your dividends from the companies based on the volume of shares you hold. Dividends are distributed to shareholders in many different ways, and by check or direct deposit to your bank account. It's really a personal preference. As an investor, you can determine the method by which you receive these dividends. If you have shares in a certificated form, you can still receive your dividends, but only in the form of a check. If you want to have your dividends payment directly deposited to your bank account, the shares need to be in electronic form. And to make them into an electronic form, you have to do a process via what we call dematerialization. And that is to convert your shares to electronic form. You make it easier for trading and receiving dividends. You cannot trade on the exchange with a certificate. You need to have your shares in electronic form in order to trade on the platform. Once your shares are electronic form, you can contact your broker or the TTCD to provide instructions to assign your dividend payments directly to your bank account. And there are many benefits of doing direct dividend deposits. It's automated, it's easier access to your dividend payments, it's a secure and faster way to receive your dividend payments, and you save time by the use of electronic payments. We're going to dematerialization now, and how do you convert your certificate to trade? So as I said previously, dematerialization is the conversion of your physical share certificate into electronic format. There are many benefits of dematerialization. You can now manage your portfolio electronically. You eliminate the risk of fraud, theft, and damage to your physical certificate. You could receive your dividends directly to your bank account, and you could use your shares as collateral, as Nicola was saying previously, for a loan. In order to demat, as we say, your certificate, you need to open a brokerage account. You deposit your share certificate directly with your stockbroker, and then you could start trading on the stock exchange. In order to open a brokerage account, we have 8 brokerage firms, which you see on the right-hand side of this slide. And all these firms are available on our website at stockex.co.tt. And you may be familiar with a lot of the firms that we have here. We have Boss, GMMB, Wise, First Citizens, etc., as you see on the screen. So you must open a brokerage account. In order to do this, you need to have a valid form of ID, proof of address dated within 3 months, and proof of income. Every broker firm will have different requirements in order for you to open your brokerage account, but these are the main requirements that you need to follow in order to open a brokerage account. Your stockbroker can provide financial advice. They can also give you recommendations in terms of the shares that need to be bought or sold, and they execute trades on your behalf, or you could trade online, which our team will continue will demonstrate later on in terms of our online platform. Once you're registered and you start trading, you could also get access to e-statements on the platform, which we will also cover a little later on in the presentation. So I'll now hand you over to Sarah, who will continue on our online trading and e-statement platforms.
Thanks, Rhonda. Morning, everyone. Okay, so at the TTSA, we have an online trading platform called Top and an e-statement platform. Investors are allowed to enter orders directly to the TTSE trading system via the Top platform. Orders will be queued and executed based on the priority sequence of price, account category, and time. You'll be able to buy and sell TT dollar equities and mutual funds on Top. And you can use the QR code on the screen right here to sign up for Top if you haven't already. And I encourage you to do so right now. All that's required is a valid email address and an internet connection. You don't need to have a brokerage account in order to sign up for Top, but if you do want to trade, you do need a brokerage account. And you can create your Top profile in just 5 steps that will just take 2 minutes. The TTCD also offers an e-statement platform that allows investors to view their statements online. It will give a breakdown of the securities that you own, the price it's currently trading at, and your portfolio value. When signing up for Top, you can sign up for e-statements at the same time or vice versa because the login information is the same. So we encourage all investors, which means all of us here, to sign up for e-statements. It's a great way to see a snapshot of your investments, and it's also environmentally friendly. And we're all about saving the trees. Once you sign up, you can add your TTCD accounts to your Top profile. And if you have more than one TTCD account, you can add all of your accounts to your Top profile so you can monitor each account in one central location. And you can also add your TTCD accounts to your e-statement profile and monitor your portfolios in the same location. If you don't have a TTCD account, you can request to open a brokerage account with a member firm of your choice through Top, and a representative will reach out to you to facilitate your request. You can also view the live market, which provides a convenient way to monitor it. With your broker's approval, you can add and withdraw funds from your Top account to suit your needs. And managing your portfolio is now much easier, since you can place orders with just a few clicks. Trading only occurs between 9:30 and 12, but remember that Top don't stop, so you can place orders 24/7. And you also have 24/7 access to your e-statements, so you can view those portfolios at any time and anywhere. The world is getting more and more digital, and the stock exchange is moving in that direction as well. So sign up for Top and e-statements today. So when you log into Top now, we'll just show a screenshot right here. So you can view all the markets, but I just want to kind of zero in on Massy specifically. So I'll just explain some of the data that you'll be seeing on the screen here. So you'll see there's a best bid quantity of 10,814 and a best bid price of $3.85. So what exactly does this mean? It basically means that $3.85 is the highest price that any investor is willing to pay for a Massy share on this particular day, and the 10,814 is the available quantity at that price. And then we have the best ask price and a best ask quantity. And this means the $3.87 is the lowest price that an investor is willing to sell the security at. And the 705 is the quantity that's available at that price. The opening price is the price of a security that when the market opened for trading on this particular day. The last price is the last traded price of the security, which is updated in real time. The closing price is the price that the security closed at for the day, which is only updated after the market has closed. The change in dollars is the difference in the opening and closing price on the day. The movement indicates whether it increased in price, decreased in price, or it didn't change at all. The high and low are the highest and lowest prices that the security traded at for the day. And the total quantity traded is the total number of shares for that particular security that were traded on the day. The market status would indicate if the market is in pre-open, open, or closed. It's in pre-open from 8 to 9:30, open from 9:30 to 12, and closed from 12 to 8 a.m. the next day. So remember that one of the most important things you can do is to monitor the market continuously. And you can do this by visiting our website where we provide comprehensive market information. And you can also subscribe to our mailing list in order to receive company news, market reports, and dividend notices directly to your email, and you can stay in the know. If you have any further questions regarding stock market investing on the TTSE, you can contact us using the contact information that you'll see here on this slide. And again, you can use the QR code that's here to sign up for TOP, and where you can go to create your TOP account. And remember, it's only going to take you like 2 minutes. You can do it in between questions. And we'll leave the slide up while we answer your question. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have a bunch of questions here. So I think let's start from the top. So Kimberly asked, how do I use my shares for collateral? Is it based on the share statement?
Can you just repeat the question? Sorry.
How do I use my shares for collateral? Is it based on the share statement?
So yes, you would, your statement, sorry?
I just want to mention or ask if persons, when they're asking the questions, because as Massy employees, persons do have shares being allocated for them. So I'm not sure if the question is based on shares from that perspective or shares that persons are personally purchasing on the stock exchange. So they will be two different answers.
Yes. So to Tony's point, ESOP, being part of the ESOP program versus shares on the stock market. Yes. Kimberly, I don't know if you want to ask more directly, or I don't know if she's still on.
But just to answer from the ESOP side, Kimberly, unfortunately, you can't use your shares as collateral because it's not in your name, it's held in Massy's name, and they're allocating shares on your behalf. But of course, on the stock exchange side, you have your own personal brokerage account. So as the team mentioned, in those cases, you'll be able to use it as collateral.
Nicola, anything to add from that side?
Hi, good morning. Yes, so you can use your ordinary shares as collateral, but first they must be held electronically in a brokerage account. And you will need to contact the broker, let them know, and they will give you the necessary forms to fill out.
Great, thank you. So moving along, we have a breakdown of fees for purchase and sell shares, which, yeah.
So the fees, we can give you fees in terms of the stock exchange and the central depository fees. Our fees are very small. It's basically, and listen carefully, it's 0.005 0.0021 multiplied by the value of the shares. So that is the stock exchange fee for any transaction you would have done, 0.0021 multiplied by the value of the shares. This is the broker, but depending on the broker firm that you will go to, different brokers have different fee structures that they offer to their clients. So to get your broker fee, you'll have to contact a specific broker.
Great. And how, I guess we have, and I'm getting other questions here while I'm still in the room, in terms of the international market. So trading on the international market and how somebody in the Caribbean might be able to do that.
If we're asking about international trading, meaning securities that are not listed on the stock exchange, you would probably have to contact somebody who deals in those areas. We are here strictly on the securities that are available on the local stock market and how you can access those securities for trading. You do not have to be a TNT national or physically in Trinidad to invest on the local stock market. We can have international investors as well, regional and international investors.
Great. The link has been added into the chat for the signing up for TOP, which many people are asking. And then as a Massy employee, can I purchase stocks? So yes. And so the process would be as you described, right?
That is correct. You simply have to, if you already have a broker account, you can simply use TOP to purchase those shares, or you can contact your broker, open a broker account, and you can take it from there.
Great. I am in Jamaica. Can I access TOP?
Yes, you can.
And how do you get added to the TTSE mailing list?
On our website, and we will post the link on our website. There is basically a form, an electronic form, where you can fill out and you indicate which new subscription you're interested in receiving, and we would add you to the distribution list. Those mailing lists, we have free mailing lists and we have paid mailing lists. The news and the dividends, those are free information that we give out. So you'll see the link popping up in the chat.
Great. So the questions are coming in. We have a question that has come in with respect to educating teens and our kids as parents on these types of investments. Do you all have a platform that can support with that? Like, how can you direct the parents in this space to start educating financial literacy from young for their kids?
Hi, good morning. I will take this one. Natasha, everyone, good morning. So we do investor awareness sessions with the schools. We have partnered with a few schools and a few organizations to do investor education to the schools. So we do visit schools in that aspect. We also, the parents can follow us on our social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and TikTok. We also host webinars with the brokers to also do this. And we also have a partnership with Wisdom CRM where they host a stock market game that's in schools right now with the Ministry of Education. So we also go along with them on their roadshow tours as well.
So that game is actually an app, right? It's an app where they sort of recreate the stock market and they...
Yes, it's a website and they do it in cohorts. There are 2 cohorts per year and the schools compete with each other for the game. So it's hosted by Wisdom CRM in partnerships with the regional exchanges.
Amazing. Great. And so maybe we will send a link to that as well. Is there a minimum amount to invest or open an account? Oh, this is with Massy Finance, which is separate. So we're having a session with Massy Finance in a couple of weeks. And so I think, Imran, if it's okay we will hold that question until then. Can you recommend a broker that I can use? I think that there's a list of brokers that you, yes.
So we provide the list, but we definitely cannot recommend a particular broker. What we do recommend is you can contact the different brokerage firms and ask the relevant questions. Some questions, I mean, people can ask, or I tell people you can ask, what are your locations? How are you conveniently located for me? You have brokers who are located in South, Central, Port of Spain. Some of them have a presence in Tobago. So it's really where the client is and how easily accessible they would want their broker to be. You can ask about fees. You can ask about their access in terms of your online trading, the turnaround time to approving your applications. Those are just some relevant questions you can ask the broker, but we definitely cannot recommend. There is the list on our website. And again, for ease of reference, we can post the link in the chat that takes you directly to our website with the contact information for the different brokerage firms.
Okay, that would be great. And then leading out of that, there's a question here with respect to whether there's a minimum amount that you need in order to start investing, and whether that is dependent on the broker.
That is dependent on the broker, but I will also take the opportunity to say different brokers have different minimum. We have brokers where there is no minimum. You can choose to purchase one share, start small, and there are brokers who have minimum investment sizes that are like 2,500, 10,000, etc. But there are also brokers who allow you to purchase smaller quantities.
Great. And so if everyone references the chat, which is quite active, the links have been being posted in there to the website and for further information. I don't know if there are any further questions at this point that anybody would like to ask. And so, Nicola, are you able to talk on or give advice with respect to any region, so the Jamaican Stock Exchange, and is there any interaction between the Trinidad Stock Exchange and the Jamaica Stock Exchange?
When you say interaction, specifically, you're referring to in terms of the securities that we trade or collaborations that we do?
Collaborations.
Because we are always interacting with our partners at the Jamaica Stock Exchange. We do have, for example, we have what we call our Caribbean exchange index, which is basically mapping the performance of the regional stock markets, which is Trinidad, Jamaica, Barbados, Guyana, and the Eastern Caribbean. So that's one of the partnerships. We have conferences that they attend. We attend their conferences. We touch base in terms of things that we might be working on and collaborate with them. So there is collaboration between us in terms of shares. Companies, if persons own shares on the Jamaica Stock Exchange and those securities are cross-listed on the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange, they have the opportunity to capitalize on opportunities that they may see in either market, where they can move their shares to or from the Jamaica and Trinidad markets and benefit for whatever opportunities they may see. So example, Massy is cross-listed both in Jamaica and Trinidad. You can have, if you purchase shares in Jamaica, you can have those shares transferred to your account with your broker in Trinidad, and you can buy or sell. Similarly, you can buy and sell in Trinidad and have those shares transferred to your Jamaica stockbroker.
Great. Well, thank you. If you have any questions that you all would like to post, I see that there's a new message. Let me just make sure that we can one switch their account if to any one broker? If yes, how difficult is it? Can you switch between, is it easy to switch between brokers?
So I'll answer the question where you can have multiple accounts with different brokerage firms. Let's say you're with broker A and you'd like to open an account with broker B. There's nothing prohibiting you from that. You may have shares in your account with broker A. Again, there are transactions and processes in place to allow you to move those shares from broker A to broker B. Also, we may have persons who have shares in terms of they would like to transfer shares to their children or to their spouse, or have shares held jointly. Again, there are processes to facilitate that, so you don't have to worry about putting up the shares over the exchange and losing it. We have facilities to allow you to transfer those shares once they meet the certain criteria.
Great. What's the benefit of the JSE over the TTSE? I guess, if you are if you're located in Jamaica versus Trinidad, etc.
So that question, we're not competing markets. We're both stock exchanges, we're both available regionally. We have shares that are listed on both exchanges. We have securities that are cross-listed. And again, as I said, we collaborate with each other. So it's not really a competition between the exchanges.
Right. And is day trading allowed on the TTSE?
trades are settled. We have a settlement cycle of T+2. So your trade will be settled into your brokerage account, and then you'll be able to invest accordingly or buy and sell it accordingly.
Great. So, sorry, you wanted to add something, Nicola?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of put a plug in terms of there are securities that are available on the stock market. I did mention, during the presentation, IPOs and APOs. We recently had an IPO in the market for MedCorp. I'm not sure if persons would have heard. We just want to say, keep aware, use the medium to get the news and information about the market, to know what is going on in the capital market locally and what opportunities might be upcoming for you.
Thank you very much. So thank you to Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange for this. I think this has been really informative and we have loads of questions. And if anyone has any other questions, we will surely pass it on. This financial literacy drive over the course of this month will touch on many topics. Next month, we will have Dr. Peter Weller. So I don't know if Dr. Weller is on to say hello. But he will talk about the psychology of the decisions we make when we're making our financial decisions, and what prohibits us and like why we make certain decisions. So that would be really interesting. And this is all part of our Massy Pulse Wellbeing Drive. So I just wanted to encourage everyone that if you're a Massy employee on this webinar right now, that you please sign up for the Massy Pulse app, because that's how you get further information on any of these topics. You can access other well-being information based on the 8 domains of well-being. And so this one being focused on financial well-being. I'm just gonna share my screen right now, and I will just give you a little overview. And Christian, if you can just put the registration link in the chat. This is just a quick look at the Massy Pulse app. Many of you have seen it already, but it's an opportunity for you to connect. We have challenges that happen that there are no challenges right now, but we will be starting some soon. There are groups on nutrition and well-being and other elements. There is a media library where you can access well-being information. You can get notifications on your specific interests, and it's 24/7 access really to well-being. We encourage you to connect with your wellness champions in your regions. Reach out to us if you need any further information, but we will put the registration link in the chat, and we really hope that you're able to, if you are having any issues accessing, please reach out to any of us. But we'd really like to thank you for joining us, and we look forward to continuing. Yes, the recording will be shared afterwards, and we'll be sharing it through our communications channels, through email, and we can post it in the app. Yes, Shasa, we can. So that's great. So thank you very much to everyone for joining us. Thank you to the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange team, and we hope to see you all next week with Dr. Weller. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.